Welcome to Wellness Made Easy with Wendy and Kirsten.
Hi, I'm Wendy. After I graduated with my master's in wellness management, I started my own company, T2 Coaching, Health, Fitness, and Sport.
And I'm Kirsten, an athlete, vegan, life coach, and girl mom, running a business focused on helping others create a life they love.
We are here to explore all things wellness to help you become the person you've always wanted to be.
So if that's why you're here, open your ears and your mind as we tackle the world of wellness together. Hey, Wendy.
Hi, Kirsten. How are you?
I'm good. I have a lot going on. I'm a little on the crazy side. What about you?
Yeah, a little pulled in many directions today, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Let's go with it.
So I was going to spend all evening. I was so excited because I moved almost 2 weeks ago and still have not. I don't know, I have like nothing unpacked, or it's just, I haven't had time to really unpack. So I was going to start doing that tonight. And then there's a class that wasn't getting covered at the gym. And I shouldn't have looked this morning. It's been on this, because I always look at Thursdays because my Thursdays are really open, but I just got finished subbing 2 classes and I shouldn't have looked, but I was like, I hope that class got covered. I just always feel like, because when I was in California, one of my classes, or I have 2 classes on Monday that they couldn't get covered. And I was gone 2 Mondays. So for 2 Mondays, my people that I usually do the class for didn't get to have class. And I felt really bad. And so I looked, and there's this class tonight at 5:30, and it was still on the sub list. And so I offered to pick it up. And now I'm like, why did I do that? But it's all good. It just made it so that my afternoon just changed. It's all good.
Right.
So
making money.
I know. And since I'm really focused on that, I just don't want to, I feel like I keep subbing all these classes, and I'm at the point where it's not sustainable to work as much as I'm working. So I know I have to figure something out that's a little more sustainable. It's just I guess it could be, but like one of my favorite things is I meet my friend and we swim on Thursday mornings after I coach Thursday early at 5:30, and then I meet her at 7 at the swim school, and we do like my longer swims these days are like 2,500, but a longer, like harder swim. And I really look forward to that. And this morning I could only do a half hour because I was subbing these other classes. And so I just don't want to my personal stuff I do is really important. My personal self-care stuff is really important. So I just need to be cognizant and aware that I have to continue to do that, or else my mental health kind of goes out the window.
Yeah. So sometimes you just need those reminders.
Yeah. So what's your wellness win for the week?
Well, I did a really big elevation gain run yesterday.
Oh, nice.
I do a lot of hill repeats, and I was kind of burned out from hill repeats. Like, I don't know, burned out. I just needed a break. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to turn my hill repeats and I'm going to do speed sessions instead. Like, I just don't want to do hill repeats, which are my favorite thing in the world. But I just didn't want to do them for a few weeks. And all of a sudden, I'm following a structured plan, but I kind of give myself, leeway to change things. And I was coaching masters yesterday, and it's been raining here, we haven't had rain in a long time. Southern Georgia was kind of on fire. So now we had some rain, which is good. And I leave masters and I'm like, I'm going to go do hill repeats, see how I feel. And I was feeling amazing, especially on the downhill, which is my weakling. So I got this 200-meter hill, and you get a little over 100 feet of gain in 200 meters. So It's 200 meters up, 200 meters down. It's right behind Lifetime. So I don't have to go anywhere. And I'm like, after 10, I'm like, I'm actually feeling really good. I'm going to do 20. That's about an hour and a half. And I get to 20 and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm really close to 30. I feel fine. I'm like, until my form breaks down, like if my form starts to break down on the descents, I'm going to stop. So I'm like, let's just, go for 30. And then I'm like, Well, the most I've ever done is 31 on October 31st of 2025. So I'm like, I got to do 32. I'm so close to 32. I can do 32. And then I knew deep down once I got to 32, I was
You
pushing
do
it to
40,
40
of course.
because yes, because and it's a wellness win for a few reasons. Number one, I set a goal after I did 31 on October 31st to do 40 one day. And it's been 6 months. So I checked that off. Like I checked that off. I felt really good about it. I only had one bottle of water. It took me 3 hours, 4,200 feet of elevation gain in 10 miles. I do more elevation gain in my 10 mile than you have in your 10 mile. And I told all my athletes, I'm like, the next time you tell me what big of a hill was challenging for you, remember who you're talking to. I just did 10 miles of 4,200 feet of elevation gain by
Right.
choice. So anyways, it's a wellness win because I checked off my goal. Number one. Number two, my race is 2.5 weeks away. So I'm in the peak of my training before I start my taper. And my race has 12,000 feet of elevation gain in a 50K. So it was like I nailed a workout. I nailed the pace I want to hold in this 50K, which is around a 17-minute mile. I'm probably going to maybe be closer to 18, 19 minute per mile with that gain, but I nailed it. And so mental confidence is a huge wellness win. I'm like, I nailed like a key workout that I really didn't plan, that I just kind of did, like, because I was feeling good.
Right.
And I think it's really important. I think it's really important for athletes to know, like, it's okay. Like, go with it. If there's a day that you're just feeling amazing and your training schedule doesn't call for this type of workout that you really feel amazing to do, just do it. And then as your coach, I'll help you modify the rest of the week, or a coach should help you modify the rest of the week. So, yeah, I feel really good about that. And then I woke up this morning kind of like, I don't know how I'm going to feel. Felt amazing on my run this morning. So I'm like at that, I'm primed, I'm peaking, and I feel really good about it.
That's awesome. Um,
Yeah.
I After I share my wellness win, I think we should talk about. I'm going to tell you what I think we should talk about, and then you can tell me what you think. Because I just thought of something while you were saying that I think
Okay.
would be really valuable for people. So my wellness win is I've been really overwhelmed and anxious and stressed, and have been eating kind of crappy. And in the past, that would have thrown me into like a eat crappier spiral. And I have all this really healthy food in the house right now because I was smart and I bought a bunch of healthy food. And so the last 2 days, I've been eating like back to my super big, awesome salads with 20 different things in them, avocados and beets and nuts and seeds and carrots and peppers and all the colors of the rainbow. And it's only been 2 days, but I feel a bazillion times better when I eat lots of fruits and vegetables than when I eat tortillas with peanut butter and jelly every day. So it's a it's a wellness win because in the past I would have gotten really mad at myself for being like, "Oh, when will you ever learn? You already know this about yourself. What's wrong with you?" And instead I was like, you know what? So for a week I ate a dozen tortillas every day full of peanut butter and jelly. And now I'm back to my salads. And just a reminder, you feel better. No biggie, moving on. So that's a really big, just
Good.
mental step for me.
Yeah. You
So,
adapted, you were moving.
yeah.
You know, when you're moving and life is chaos, you don't know where anything is. And that's fine.
Yeah.
Temporary.
Yeah. And I keep thinking that too. Every day I'm like, in 1 month, and I said this last week and I said this the week before, in 1 month, this is all going to seem like no big deal. All this, because it's all going to be semi settled in a month. Actually, after this weekend, I feel
Mm-hmm.
pretty confident that I'll be pretty unpacked. So I was thinking
Nice.
so earlier today, I was thinking about how my training plan has kind of gone out the window. Just with like, I keep picking up all these classes, and like today I'm teaching, and not that I have to go, I don't go hard in my classes, but 3 hours of lifting weights, even if it's not really heavy weights, and doing exercise as an instructor is still like 3 hours of work on my body. And so I've been subbing so many classes that I don't have the time or the energy to do my own workouts. And so my training plan's kind of gone out the window. And I was thinking like, that's okay for me. And then when you had mentioned that sometimes you're like, well, it wasn't exactly on my training plan, but I had this opportunity, it got me thinking that I think it would be a good thing to talk about is when you should stick to your training plan and when you don't need to, as far as like the people we coach and what types of people would do well sticking exactly to their training plan and what types of people and situations would be okay to go off the training plan. Does that make any sense to you? Because it just seemed to me like it would be a good opportunity to talk about, like, you have 40 years plus of training under your belt between swimming and running and triathlon and now ultras, that if you don't stick to a exact training plan, you know your body and you know what you're up against and you know the result from whatever training that you decide to do that day. And like,
Right.
I have a really, like, been doing triathlon for 30 years also. So if I don't get in my long ride or my long run this training cycle, I know I'm going to go to the race and be able to do my long ride and long run. But on the flip side, you and I both have clients that we coach who they're doing their first race, or they don't have the confidence in their run, or every time they swim, it gets harder and harder, or, different situations where they really need to stick to a specific training plan. So I thought we could talk about that today. What are your thoughts?
Yes, I think that's fine.
Okay.
I'm in my mom's apartment and she's on the phone, so it's a little loud.
Everyone will hear your mom's phone call. So what are your thoughts on
Well, the first thing I thought of was I have an Olympic distance triathlon that I decided to do with 8 weeks out. And so 8 weeks out, I decided we did a podcast. I'm feeling behind. I said I'm behind in my bike training if I'm going to do a race in 8 weeks. And, I have certain expectations that with all my run fitness is going to carry over into the bike. And right now I'm only biking just to get comfortable on my bike. I'm not doing any like intervals or structure. The one metric I'm following is high fun value. And as long as I'm having fun on my bike, I'll continue to ride it. But I have no desire to have to train a certain way. I just want to get comfortable on my bike and see what happens in 8 weeks with doing an Olympic distance triathlon on running fitness only. Because I'm hardly swimming. And again, it's one reason I just thought about this is it's a downstream swim. So even a non-swimmer doesn't have to train the same way for a downstream swim as a regular swim with normal current. So I know I can train a certain way because I have 34 years experience. I'm okay with it. So number one, it's certain expectations. Number two, it's as a coach, if an athlete wants to vary or go off the plan I set for them, I'm okay with that as long as there's a reason and it makes sense. If I see an athlete telling me, they hate running, they want to improve their running, yet they're not running, well, I'm going to reel them in and say, in order for you to become a better runner, don't miss these 4 runs that I scheduled every week. If you do, you're not going to make this progress that these specific 4 runs are going to provide for you. If you are okay with that, let's modify the plan. Let's keep the goal, but modify the plan. So that's kind of what comes to mind, is having reasons for modifying, having a purpose for modifying, like knowing, you know, even though I kind of did this random 40 hill repeats that I only made up as I was going, in the big picture, it's going to benefit me. And I knew that. If I wasn't training for a 50K with 12,000 feet of gain, the purpose of my workout would have been one of my, just a training challenge, which it was. At the same time, the training challenge that I set for myself is going to help me in my race in 2.5 weeks. And so it's just understanding the expectations and the desire, and making sure you keep training fun. If an athlete's not having any fun in their training, like I'm coaching someone right now who's really struggling with running, I'm like, okay, all metrics, let's just get rid of the metrics. Your goal today is do 3 miles any way you want to do 3 miles. You don't have to follow any certain pace or heart rate, or you just have to go enjoy 3 miles. However you're going to enjoy 3 miles, I don't care. Just go enjoy 3 miles.
Right. Yeah, I do a lot of when I have athletes that are either struggling with physical or mental exhaustion. So if they're like on a scale from 1 to 10, I'm feeling this or this, but they still have a pretty, like their goal is still really important to them and they want to do something. I give them a like whatever like would be the most fun for you, or whatever makes you feel the best, or what's your favorite thing to do. Because that's what I do for myself. If I'm like, okay, I want to keep training, I want to move, because movement helps me mentally and physically. And I like swimming, biking, and running. But if I make low energy and I don't feel like doing like a harder workout, I think, what would I enjoy the most? What would give me the most joy? And so the last 4 days, my only workout has been, I've swam 30 minutes the last 4 days, because swimming makes me feel calm. It makes me, lowers my anxiety, and it's still moving me toward my goal. I'm doing triathlon. So as long as I'm either swimming or biking or running, in some way, it's moving me toward my triathlon. Maybe not my exact goal, but like you said, I would say to, people who want to go off their plan, same thing. I always ask why, to see what the reason is, because sometimes we've talked a lot. We've had 2 or 3 podcasts on valid and invalid excuses. So, why do you want to go off your training plan? What's going on in your life? Do we need to change something? Is it not working for you anymore? And I think the more specific somebody's goal is, the more specifically they need to follow a training plan. And the looser, like if you just have a goal of finishing, or, getting like kind of a more wide target goal, then it doesn't have to be as specific. And then you can play with it a little more.
Yeah, exactly. Like if I had a goal that I wanted to average 20 miles an hour on my bike in 8 weeks, I would do something different on my bike training. But that's not my goal. My goal is to check off your 34, do a triathlon as fast as I can, and have fun with it. It's not to perform. There's no performance goal. I'm going to perform as best I can based on how I prepared for it. And again, with 34 years of not missing a race, I have a pretty good idea of how I'm going to perform based on what I'm doing, and I'm totally okay with that. Another thing I wanted to mention is, there's a lot of different ways to structure the details of a workout and get the same benefit. So if instead of doing, let's say 3 by 10 minute threshold efforts with 2 minutes in between, do 6 by 5 minutes at threshold effort with 1 minute in between. So you're still getting that 30 minutes of threshold work and the same, like amount of recovery, in just a different way.
Right.
Instead of doing it on flats, you do it on hills, so It's just important to know you are varying the workout, you're going off the plan, but if the goal and the structure and the specifics is important, it's okay to go off the plan, but still modify the workout that you're still getting the same intention of what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, and sometimes just doing that a little bit helps mentally. Like if you see so like we did our workout today for swimming was 450s, and they were all the interval just got a little longer each time, but the first one it was like a hard like 80 to 90% effort on an interval that only gave me like 6 seconds rest. So I wasn't ready to go into the next 50, but the next interval would give me 5 more seconds rest. So I went about 5 seconds slower, got the same amount of rest, and we did that 4 different 50s. So in general,
Right.
it was kind of like a 200 threshold. So even though it was broken up in 50s, but if I would have had on my plan 4x200s at threshold with how I'm feeling with being overwhelmed right now, I would look at that and be like, oh, that seems too hard. But when it was broken up to 450s 4 times, it was the same exact, like you said, it got the same result, but my brain did better with 50s today than it would have done with 200s. And if I would have stuck with the 4 200s, I guarantee the whole 200 would have been slower than my 450s.
Yeah.
And so it wouldn't have been at threshold. It would have been like more aerobic. And so sometimes modifying to fit your schedule or your brain or how your body is feeling is actually more of a benefit than you would think.
Yeah, and a lot of times, like, an athlete will ask me, what do you want me to do? Like, if they're injured or they're coming back from injury or an illness or travel, they're like, what do you want me to do? I'm like, well, number one, what can you do? What does your therapist say you can do?
What
What do you have time to do? What do you want to do? And then I'll tell you the details or the specifics. Or they'll say, is it okay if I move this workout from Thursday to Friday or move it to the weekend? And the answer will always be yes, because the best training plan is one that fits around your other life priorities. And
Yes.
sometimes, like finally, sometimes I get to the point, if they ask me those types of questions a lot, I'm like, you can drag and drop the workouts and training peaks. I can do it for you. You don't even have to ask. I will see what you've done, and if I see a red flag, like, ooh.
All right, Wendy. So what are some other situations that you think for your athletes or for yourself where you should either stay on or stray from workouts?
If you're not motivated to do the workout on the plan, I think number one, the first thing you do is you look ahead and you say, okay, let's swap. Like you were saying, swimming is key for you. So if you only have time to do one thing in the last 4 days, you chose swimming because of the benefits for you and your mental health. So you kind of look ahead and you say, oh, I feel like swimming today. I'm going to switch my bike workout and my swim workout. And chances are high that's going to be great. Or so motivation, or your day filled up, things out of your control are starting to happen and suck up your time. And again, that you can't make it to the pool because that's one thing that takes a lot of time. Whereas running, you can just put on your running shoes, your clothes, and go outside your home and run. And cycling, maybe you can't cycle because of the weather and you don't have the opportunity to ride indoors. So, I think when life changes and life happens, your schedule changes, you're not motivated, you're sick or injured. Maybe you woke up with your knee was hurting and maybe it had to do with the workout before, but you woke up, your knee's hurting, you don't know what to do. Maybe you have to skip the run that was scheduled that day in place of a swim or a bike so you don't further damage your knee. So there's a lot of instances that you should change your workout and you don't really need permission to do it, especially all those situations, you shouldn't need permission from your coach or anyone to modify your workout or go off the plan. As long as you communicate the reason why you had to do it, no hard feelings from at least me as your coach. I hope you take the responsibility to modify and go off the plan in those 4 instances.
Yeah. And I always, I also have people go off plan, like swap things around. If somebody wakes up one day and so like I have this athlete I'm coaching and he has the same exact amount of time every day. So his workouts are the same amount of time pretty much every day. So if he was to wake up on Tuesday and feel amazing, like he got great sleep, he ate really well the night before, he's just feeling great. Like if I woke up feeling amazing, I would look at my week and be like, I'm doing those hill repeats. Or I'm going to pick the hardest workout for me. That's the same amount of time that I could swap these workouts around because I woke up feeling energetic, recovered, and ready to crush my hardest workout. And I would go do that workout so that on the day where I'm not feeling as great, I can look through and be like, oh, sweet, I have a zone 2 ride with a run as you feel after or something like on the easier day when I'm not feeling great.
Yeah, so I think that's really important too.
Yeah, I think that's a good
because
situation.
There's so many things impact your performance. If you're feeling good, go for it.
Yeah.
Because the day that you're supposed to do the hard effort, you might not be feeling so good. So then just, I don't know. I just think, yeah, I think you get to know your body enough and you have the relationship with your coach or your self-coach to understand the benefits of swapping out workouts, good days and bad days based on how you feel.
Right. So I had the same guy that has the same amount of time every day. I gave him his workouts last week and he said he put together a series of Monday this, Tuesday this, what he would do each day. And he did 3 different kind of configurations of it. And he was like, which one should I do? And I said, which one do you want to do? And he was like, oh, I think choice B or whatever. I don't remember which one he picked, but and I was like, perfect. Then that's the one to do. Because it's all the same workouts in the week. And in general, that's going to produce all the same results as long as you get in those specific workouts. So if you I like to swim and run on the same day because I run and then I swim after. So it's kind of, I feel like I'm recovering from the run because running is hard on my body and swimming isn't. But he doesn't like swimming at all. So if he runs and then swims, that's not going to be a benefit for him the way it is for me. And he was like, well, I'd rather practice a transition between swimming and biking. And I'm like, great. Then that's how you should do your workout order because that works best for you. So I think, like you said, as long as they're getting what they need to do to reach the goal they want to get to, then it's all good. And in the grand scheme of life and for longevity of the sport, which Wendy and I have been in the sport for a really long time, and we talk about that, you need to have the flexibility. You need to have the fun. You need to listen to your body and know when and when not to do specific workouts for your mental, physical, and emotional well-being.
Absolutely.
I will tell you one thing not to do because this happened this week. I have an athlete who's been struggling with training and race nutrition. And last week, on his long brick, he's doing half Ironman Boulder, Boulder 70.3, and it's in like 6 weeks now. It's coming up. So he needs to dial in this nutrition because when he came to me at the beginning of the year wanting coaching, that was his number one thing. He's like, I can't make it through a race without bonking. I'm like, then we need to dial in that nutrition. So the 2 weeks ago, his long brick, I can't remember offhand, 1 mile into the run, he bonked. He's like, I just had nothing left. I said, what did you eat and drink? He's like, nothing really. So I'm like, okay, we gotta change this. So I said, you have to start. And Wendy and I have talked about this. Everyone is different. Everyone's body responds differently. But in general, these days, you can either decide, the majority of people either go by calories or grams of carbohydrate for long workouts to see like, how do I keep my body fueled for the duration? So I was just picking some not random numbers, but based on his workout intensity, what he's done before, his body weight, a few different things. And we talked about, you could get sweat rate tests. You can just go online. And now even with Flow, the stuff I use, you can go on their website and just put in a few metrics and it'll tell you, oh, you need approximately this many calories and this many carbs per hour. So I said, why don't you try? I think I said, we're just going to try like 80 grams of carbs per hour. Because he's a man, he's a little more bulk. I typically do around that. I do between 60 and 90. So I'm like, why don't you try that and just see how you feel? And he did a 3-hour bike ride. He waited a half an hour before his run. And then he said he bonked 1.5 miles into the run. So I was like, oh, that's like 4 hours. So I said, tell me what you ate and drank. And I added it up and it was 130 carbs in over 4 hours. So I was like, I thought we decided on we're going to try 80 carbs per hour. Because he sent me a saying and I'm like, I see why you bonked an hour and a half and a mile and a half into the run, because you had only taken at that point 130 grams of carbs and you had already been 3.5 hours into your workout. And we were going to try the 80. So that's something that if you're really working on a specific part of your training, like if you were barely going to make the swim cutoff and your coach tells you you need to swim 4 days a week and here are the drills you need to do or you're not going to make the cutoff. And you're like, oh, well, I don't really like drills. Instead, I just swam 2 days because I don't really like swimming. And I just swam a straight through 1,000. And you're like, but that in that situation, that's not going to get you toward your goal. So there are certain things, if you really need to work on something, then you need to listen to your coach because they have an idea of how to work on that thing.
That was a great example.
Yeah. So this all just happened like a few days ago. So I was like, so I thought we agreed on 80 grams of carbs per hour. And you took in 130 for the whole entire time. So I told him try it again this weekend, but we're running out of weekends. Races coming up soon. So anything else you wanted to add about when to listen to your coach, when to switch things around?
Well, as a swim coach, and people struggle all the time with open water swimming. When you are at a May or a springtime early season event and you don't have time to get in any open water before the springtime event, please, please, please consider not signing up for a springtime event until you know you can get some open water swim experience. So I'm on my coaching platform. I've seen too many people not get any open water. They sign up for these 70.3s or 140.6. And I don't know, they don't think ahead to say, what time of year am I going to be training? Do I have access to open water during January, February, and March for my April race? Maybe you don't want to do an April race if open water swimming is one of your weaker links. Maybe you want to give yourself time to train more for a summer or fall event if it fits into your schedule, so you have more access to open water. That's just super important. That's something that you should follow in your plan. Don't skip your swim training or your open water swim skills floating, treading water, acclimating to cold water, getting in cold water, knowing how to acclimate, what lies beneath, understanding there's nothing beneath you that's going to grab you or cause any fears and anxieties. It's an irrational fear and anxiety. And so I just wanted to say all that because 'tis the season. We are in the spring. We are getting closer to summer. It is still April, close to May, and it's still that time of year where people are getting ready for a June race and they haven't swam open water yet. And it's just really, really important. That is part of your plan that you should stick to.
Yeah, and on that note, biking is similar. So if you are not a confident cyclist, like Wendy was saying, she's just getting on her bike. She has the fitness. She's strong. She's getting on her bike because she hasn't been on her bike in a year. So if you're someone, and I'm the same way. The first time I get on my bike for this season, I'm like, why am I so wobbly? I have really great core, but this is different. You have to acclimate to it. So if you're someone who's nervous on the bike, if you don't have great bike handling skills or bike technique, don't sign up. If you live in a wintry state like Colorado or Montana or South Dakota, don't sign up for an April race because you're going to want that time on your actual bike before you race. Especially if you have a really hilly race and you need to work on your handling skills on the downhill or climbing up a hill, working on gearing and shifting and stuff like that. So it's the same sort of thing. Is think ahead, think about your strengths and weaknesses. Like Wendy could sign up for a March race because she swam in open water so many times. She's such a great swimmer. She doesn't need to swim in open water before her first open water race. It's always beneficial to, but she doesn't need to. But the majority of people, I have somebody referred this guy to me for a swim lesson. I'm doing it this weekend. He's doing Boulder. And he's like, I'm so bad at swimming, and Boulder's in 6 weeks. Bad. I mean, I'm going to do my very best to help him get prepared, but think about those kind of things in advance. Making sure you have enough time for the skills that you're weaker in. And those are especially the things you're weaker in, whether it's nutrition or open water swimming or bike handling. Those are the things that you really need to pay attention to, and your coach can help you with that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What are you most excited? Oh, do you have any listener questions?
No.
I do. I have one
I thought we were doing a listener question podcast, so I do have a lot of listener questions,
okay,
but
we'll do
I want to save it
one
for a different day.
We'll do another one in a couple weeks, but I have one that is perfect because it's a swimming one. So you can you'll be very valuable in answering this. So I had one of my athletes that I coach, she was like, I just don't understand why I have to do any speed work, like sprints, some fast stuff, because when I do it, my technique just falls apart. And I feel like that's not what I'm going to be doing in the race. And she's training for a 70.3, and it's speed work that is once a week at the most, because her swimming is between 1 and 2 times a week. And she can, and some background, she's done longer distances for like 10 years. So she knows she can finish the swim. And her original goal was to do Boulder faster than she wanted to PR her 70.3 in Boulder. So that was her question. So your thoughts on swim speed work for people doing longer distances?
If your stroke falls apart when you're doing speed work, that's the whole point of doing speed work, is to figure out why your stroke is falling apart. So like, I get it. Like I athletes all the time, they're like, oh, I started, out fast. And then even though my RPE went up, my pace stayed the same or my pace was slower. Ding, boom, we have a technique issue. So it helps me as your coach to say, if your technique is falling apart when you're going faster, we have a technique issue, let's fix it. Also, how does she know her technique is going apart? If she's swimming on her own, a feeling is you do feel sometimes when your technique goes apart. Well, don't let it go apart and try to maintain that speed or effort with good technique, assuming you know what good technique and bad technique is.
Right.
And again, if you want to go faster, especially if you've been swimming for 10 years and you're used to the endurance and you have that good base and that good strength, doing the intervals will make you faster, because if you always swim at the same speed, you're no matter what how much technique you do, you're still going to be the same speed. If you always do what you always did, you'll always get what you always got. One of my favorite quotes.
Me too. And I always compare when people ask, because I feel like nobody ever asks me this about running and biking. Like, I feel like everybody understands to run faster and bike faster, you do intervals and you do speed work. But for some reason, when people get to swimming, they think it's totally a different thing. Like they don't understand how speed work relates to swimming, but they do understand how it relates to running and biking. So a lot of times I just bring it back to that. Be like, training swimming is the same principle as training cycling or training running. And so I think that's helpful as well to people who understand that if you want to run faster, you need to teach your body to run faster. If you want to swim faster, you have to teach your body to swim faster.
Right. And I like how you say you have to teach your body, because part of running or swimming or biking faster is technical, it's strength, it's endurance, and it's intervals. It's tempo, threshold, zone 5 speed. It's a process. And so again, if you're swimming intervals and you know your technique is getting worse and your pace is getting worse, even though your effort's high, well, then let's look at your technique when you go faster. Let's figure out why your technique is breaking down when you go faster. That doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. It just is a learning opportunity for us to help you have better technique and go faster and make that speed feel easier.
Right. And the other thing that I think about that is I also think it's very important to learn that getting your heart rate up that high when you're swimming is okay, and to getting used to that feeling. Because I think with swimming, if people get their heart rate up too high, they get nervous and then they want to stop. Whereas if you're running and your heart rate gets up high, you never stop. You just either slow down or you start walking. But for swimmers, people who aren't swimmers, they don't trust when their heart rate gets up high. So I think it's a good idea to just feel that it's okay when your heart rate gets up really high in the water, and you can bring it back down when you slow down, and getting used to that feeling of working hard in the water, because I think for people who are non-swimmers, that scares them.
Well, and no matter what your swim experience is, you're gonna it's a race setting. You're gonna have a different mindset, your different anxiety level, different heart rate approaching the swim start. And so let's get you used to having a high heart rate. Let's see how you mentally and physically handle a high heart rate and that anxiety level. And if you have anxiety, what do? You could tread water, you can go on your back. There's a lot of things you can do to rest and keep moving forward, just like you would in running or cycling. You're going to pedal easier, you're going to slow down to recover. You need to learn how to do that in the pool, because you're going to experience that in an open water swim.
Yeah, exactly. So yes, to anyone wondering, should I do speed work in the water? Yes, as one of your workouts, or as part of a little bit of each workout, or however you have it structured. You need technique, you need the duration, you need the endurance and the strength, but also the speed and higher heart rates in the pool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now what are you excited about coming up?
It's May, change of seasons. I know the change of the season happens in March when it's officially spring, but I think May for me as a swim coach, a swimming person, our outdoor pool is going to officially be open in May, meaning they're probably going to start to heat it up like right now it's just solar heated. So it fluctuates between 69 and 74, depending on the weather here. But I think they're going to officially start to pump in some heat. So it's warmer, and they're going to do like what they call a soft opening for the kids on the weekends. They're going to have lifeguards on the weekends for the kids, and it'll be a little bit more warmer, welcoming for adults to swim some laps, including me. I'm definitely, I don't really train much, but now that the outdoor pool is going to be more my temperature, even though I can swim in 74, I'd rather have it be 80. It's going to be more my temperature to start swimming more outside. I love swimming outside.
I know, me too. And next week we are going to talk about that springtime changes and what you can expect going into the next season, and what are things that might be struggles. So if you guys are thinking at all about stressors for coming into the spring or summer, there's a lot of changes, especially if you have kids or you work with kids, because that's a big change for kids. Most kids have the summer off. We will be talking about that next week. And I'm most excited about, I'm super excited because Saturday, all I have on my schedule right now is a 5K. I'm trying to get, I'm doing the Boulder in a few weeks, and it's the last weekend to get in a wave. And I haven't been doing any like fast races to try to get in a higher wave in the Boulder. So I picked a race. It's on Saturday. So I'm doing a 5K. And then at like noon, I think I have one private swim lesson for 30 minutes. And that's all I have on my schedule for the entire day. And my daughter's with her dad this weekend. So I am going to organize the crap out of my house.
Good.
And I'm so excited for it. All right, you guys. Let us know if you have any comments about this whole like switching workouts, coaches thing. I think it's really important, like Wendy said, that you guys have some agency and some choices and over your workout plan, because it's your life and your plan. And if you guys have questions about that, talk to your coach, talk to me or Wendy. We always love to answer your coaching questions because we love what we do. All right, we'll see you next time.
Make it a great day.
Thanks for being here. Bye.
Thank you for listening to Wellness Made Easy with Wendy and Kirsten.
If you want to learn more about us or anything we talked about today, check out the links in our show notes.
We would love to know what you think of our podcast and what you want more of. So drop us a comment, send us a message, and help us out by leaving us a rating and a review.
And don't forget to let us know your wellness win for this week.
Thanks for listening.
Make it a great day.